Steve, looking ahead to the new campaign, what's your reflections on how last season ended?
Well, they ended very positively for us because, you know, the amount of changes that we had in the last day, which was, I think, a record. I think we were the constant figure to remain in a position of stability, if you can call it that. You know, obviously when Wolves score near the end of the game, then you know, I think that made them safe as such if everything remained the same. But we were I think a force to be reckoned with in the first half. We played as good as I've seen us play at any time since I've been in charge in the first 45 minutes, and I think we've tried to build on that from day one. You know, and I think the way we play with the mix of the young guys and the pace and the wide areas, you know, I think we've been very, very positive in our play.
The experience that you had as a manager last season, then, how do you think that's going to help you in terms of this campaign? Obviously, it's your first pre-season with the players as the manager and first full season as well.
Well, I think any tough experience that you come through, because you know there was a number of weeks where we drew, and I felt as though we were good enough for wins, and then obviously that puts pressure on not only myself but the team as you slip down the table. But I think what we showed as a group and as a club is that when it was backs against the wall, we stuck together. We were a force at the end that was hard to beat. We had a team spirit that I think shone through, and I think it makes everybody better, not only myself as a manager when you go through that experience, but it was quite easy for me to leave out some of the young lads, you know, and play some of the senior players. But I felt as though they deserved their opportunity to play. They performed well enough, and not only myself but all the young lads that came through that, I think that will help them grow up quickly.
You mentioned just before that you were targeting top 10 this year. What do you think has to change then from last year in order for you to achieve those ambitions?
Well, I touched on it earlier. I think the amount of draws, and certainly, you know, the amount of draws that we had at half time. You know, I think we've got to turn them, you know, more of them into victories, and that sounds like a simple stat, but you know, when we analyse that at the end of the season, there was too many times last year where we were drawn at half time and never managed to get a result. And I mean any type of result. You know, we lost a lot of the games from drawn at half time. We've looked at the reasons why that was and the way we approached second halves, because you know, I think I went on record last season saying if the game finished at half time, we'd have been in the top 6, and then if you just take the second half performances, we'd have been bottom. So, and it wasn't down to fitness, because in some of the games where fitness levels even went up in the second half. So we've put a lot of sessions together to you know, eradicate the manner in which we played in the second half, and I think if we can, you know, certainly focus on that, keep the first half performances, focus on, you know, turning draws at half time into victories, or even just an even spell of victories and draws and defeats. There was just too many that went the wrong way, and I think if we can do that, there's no reason why we can't be in the top half.